We're in. Roy just got done.
Wow.
Hopefully he got done.
2 hours?
Got done. 2.5 hours. That's short for Roy. I figured he'd go 4.
Well,
I'm sure he wanted to go longer.
You know, Glaswegian.
Glaswegian
rules.
Thanks,
what do we got?
Thanks to everybody that's tuning in. This is our 2019 kind of end of the year celebration. We're going to talk about whiskey picks of the year. We're going to talk about distilleries of the year, exciting things that we've been involved in, but not just us.
Right.
We've got some other guests here, but one thing too right now. So Bart, I've got 3.
He's poured me something blind.
We've got 3. Well, Bart has 3 blind pours I poured before he got here. Kind of just walk us through our year. And just go from, you got 296, 297, and 298 for coins. Just start with 296.
Got it.
And as the show goes on, we're going to kind of be talking about these drams and what each one is. And joining us though today, take that out. There we go.
Boom.
Looking our, is that our right? Our left?
Take it. You
That's
got
our
it.
left.
It's
over here. This guy over here. Chris Trevino, known as the Liquorhound. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Trevino, known as Liquorhound, as you stated. Very glad to be here with everyone. I don't do live streams very often, so this is kind of unique for me, but again, I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. To Chris's left, both Rob and Jeremy, we had to bring in somebody north of the border and our respected Canadian reviewers, Jeremy from Sipper Social Club and Rob Whiskey in the Six.
We're trying to hide Rob behind the dummies.
Yeah.
It's taking the place of my eyes.
When he gets real happy.
Go ahead, guys. Introduce yourselves.
Hey guys, Jeremy, Super Social Club. How's it going? Hope everyone's had a good holiday season. Yeah, we're up here at Rob's place. Happy to be a part of this live stream. Really honored. So thanks so much.
Yeah, Rob from Whiskey in the Six.
Yeah,
we can sometimes it feels that way. Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. That's awesome.
And in the middle, or to the right, somewhere down here.
What? Oh,
there we go. Not there.
The map
in there. Oh, Jason, how you doing?
It's like the Brady Bunch.
I was going to say exactly that.
What's up, Scott and Bart? How you doing? Don't spill anything on me.
Thanks for joining us, Jason. Go ahead and introduce yourself and your channel.
Yeah, I'm Jason C. from the Master and Drum Whiskey Room on YouTube. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the invite, guys. Thanks for having me be a part of this. Just another cherry on top for an amazing whiskey year for me and the channel, and happy to be with you guys.
Good to have you.
Yeah, thank you. And to Jason's left, I think everybody knows.
Who? What?
I'm having a good time figuring out my angles for
I know.
the shots.
Look at
so
that.
I can seem like guys, it's really good to be here. Thanks for having me. It's good to see you here. Of course, as always. And you guys are obviously all great. Yeah.
Thanks, Daniel, for coming in. Of course, from the Whiskey Vault, joining us from Austin, Texas. Now, Chad and Sara, it's Bourbon Night. Will be here at some point. They couldn't be here right off the bat. They'll be coming in. My trick is going to be I've got to watch for them to just come in at the bottom because they're muted from view.
Muted.
So, and Bart, maybe you can
I
help.
will keep an eye out.
Kind of watch that area right there on the computer and let me know when we see Chad and Sara. So we do have kind of a mix of when I was putting together our list, or Bart and I were putting together our list, and who do we bring in? Of course, like I said, Liquorhound. Most people know Liquorhound. He's been around for a long time, been on YouTube, well respected, thousands of bottles in his collection. Kind of an expert on all things spirits. I mean, not just whiskey, but cognacs, armagnacs, rums, tequilas, gin, Zima,
the malted liquor. That should be the name. It should be malted brown.
I might draw the line right about there somewhere.
He's like, all right, I'm calling the live show. See ya.
And like I mentioned, Rob and Jeremy joining us from Canada. Kind of a well-rounded experience, though, with Rob. I mean, he was originally mostly kind of world whiskeys, scotches, and those things. He's branched out, got into some bourbons. Jeremy, I think a little bit more, maybe you brought Rob in to the world of bourbons and American whiskeys and those things.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess we like to, think that we both brought each other into whiskeys. I mean, the good thing about us being so close is we share so many bottles and we have so much access to so much good stuff. Yeah, I'd say I do like almost an equal split: bourbon, scotch.
Good job, Daniel.
Yeah.
That was perfect. I think you guys basically sounds like you hold hands while you drink.
Yeah, we do.
Kind of. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we kind of have a marriage that splits the kids, and the kids are the liquor that we buy.
I've seen some of your live streams, and you may or may not be holding hands by the end of them.
Skipping.
Yeah, you know, we have a couple pours, and if Rob's pouring, then we're holding hands at the end. That's for sure.
Now, because of that, you're in Canada. How much do you think your experience in Canadian whiskeys is?
I mean, Canadian whiskeys always kind of came, second place for me, just because I just enjoy Scotch and bourbon that much more. I mean, we have access to lots of Canadian whiskey, but I mean, I still just reach for the Scottish stuff, the American stuff first.
Really? No Lock 40 cask strength you want to get rid of?
There's quite a few on the shelves up here now because the third batch isn't as good as the first two.
Really?
Here.
Look at that. You said lot 40 cask strength. He reaches
I like
down
how
there
you
and
pulled
boom.
it up.
Yeah.
So this is the new one. So they dropped the age statement. They finished it in French wine cask this year. But yeah, just because supply was low, I think, on their stock, they had to drop the age statement. And it kind of reflected in the smell and taste, I think. Not as good as previous years.
Yeah, it's definitely much younger.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was French Virgin Oak.
Yeah, French Virgin Oak, yeah.
Yeah, I originally started with Canadian whiskey, so I have a good background in Canadian whiskey. Well before I started my channel, that's what I was drinking, collecting, whatever. Kind of got into Scotch, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to start a whiskey channel, see what happens. And yeah, so my birth of whiskey, I guess, was with Canadian whiskey, and the one that we really love this year.
Yeah, so this year, this is my Canadian whiskey of the year. It's the Wiser's 23-year-old cask strength. This one is great whiskey. It represents that Canadian whiskey profile beautifully well. 23 years old, a cask strength. They won $150 Canadian for that, so that's like 110 US. So I think well worth it for that pour for sure.
Does it look like that one right there?
That's a good one. Oh, we got an Aqua Vitae, little
cowbell.
Always more
Roy.
cowbell.
We just shot our review of that. A fan sent us that north of the, a fan arranged for us to get this.
Good fan,
as we like to say. And so we just reviewed it, and our review is coming up of that. But my thoughts were about the same. What you thought there on it?
Yeah.
But Aqua Vitae, Roy said, sharing a little bit of Daniel's money. Thank you, dummies.
Daniel had another good look, though. He was looking around. He was checking. He's got the angles down.
Yeah.
I'm going to see. I actually got to go like this if I want to talk to you.
That right there, I think.
So just going through each channel, though, a little bit, Jason, you came in and you were doing mainly bourbons, American whiskeys. And now, though, you've kind of branched out into the world of Scotch.
Yeah, when I started the channel, it was definitely going to be bourbon specific.
Ooh.
Wrong one. I
Wrong
clicked on the wrong one.
The way you're waving.
Yeah, when I first started, it was going to be definitely more bourbon specific. That's what I started on. But part of the channel also was growing more into Scotch and learning more, some single malt Scotch, trying different variations, different regions. I found out that I really do love Islay whiskey, and definitely kind of geared towards that a little bit more. But some other expressions that, Bunnahabhain, which is also, Scott and I, we talked quite a bit about Bunnahabhain, our love for that we found the last couple months.
Oh, yeah.
Longmorn, it's been another one I've kind of latched on to. Also Bruichladdich, what they're putting out. But yeah, it was kind of tough this year because there was so many, bourbon obviously is so popular now, and the amount of new releases coming out and the amount of new bottles and special releases, it's hard to keep up. So I feel like I spent a year tasting different scotches now, and I want to add that a little bit more to the channel going into 2020. So channel definitely grew a lot faster than I thought it would. So it's been a great year.
Yeah, congratulations.
Speaking of growth, that's a good segue.
Yeah. back to our
Yeah,
channel,
channel growth.
Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Now, so I mean, each channel again, though, Daniel, you kind of really bring a rounded knowledge about all things spirits. Probably.
Well, and raw sex appeal.
There's that.
So,
Yeah, that didn't even need to be said.
And that's just on video. When you meet Daniel in
I
person,
know.
Yeah. Oh my God, you got to contain yourself.
Oh man, I'll tell you, I didn't actually pick any of the whiskeys to talk about because my favorite thing about joining you guys today, and really in general, is the community has really caught me off guard. I mean, I knew this thing would be fun, and I knew we'd get to do some cool whiskey stuff, and I knew there's some cool people doing cool things in the whiskey industry. But, man, because of what we do, I talk to a lot of other YouTubers that have nothing to do with whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they all bitch about is YouTube comments and YouTube people surrounding their YouTube videos. And I just sit in the corner while they bitch and go like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Really? Nice.
Because our community in this whiskey crew with all of you guys and all the people hanging out, I mean, even in this stream, it's just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that love for whiskey is already lends itself to community. So
yeah.
Oh, little cowbell again.
Oh yeah. Hey.
Gregor.
Tom R says, I wish I could pour a dram for all of you here. You have all educated me so much since I started my journey into whiskey.
Nice. See, there's what Daniel's talking about right
Cheers, my whiskey mentors.
Yeah.
Now, I did grab 2 whiskeys at random off the shelf.
At random?
Just because I wanted to drink them. And I was in the vault, but the internet connection was bad. So, so I moved into the tower, into the lecture room. So I've got 2. I'm just going to go back and forth no matter what you guys are doing.
Perfect.
But the Kalila 25 and just Ardbeg Ugdal.
Perfect.
Yeah, 2 good drams.
Yep.
Because
Bart is on. We're on the first dram here that I poured. This is a bourbon. It is a cask strength one. It's one we've had it, but it's been a long time since we've done it. It was probably one of our first bourbons that we did. And he's made a few comments to me while we've been sitting here. It's very good. He's enjoying it.
I secretly sampled the middle one too, which has Oloroso kind of.
Oh, you already did the middle one?
Yeah, I touched it. Yeah.
But Stag Junior. Just picked up a Stag Junior. We hadn't had it for a long time. And it's batch 13, 128.4 proof.
I hope you're wearing your big boy pants.
They're always on, brother. That's for Eric Waite, the sniper.
Eric, according to the Mayan calendar, 2020 is going to be another great whiskey year.
Perfect.
Yeah, and the Farmer's Almanac.
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah,
they both agreed. Yeah, but this is one we had reviewed early on. I had a comment come in, someone recommended, say, you guys got to try batch 12 of the Stag. So I was out and about looking, and this has become even more allocated in our area.
No.
You know, once upon a time, this was in every liquor store here and on every shelf.
64.2 ABV.
Yeah, just like most Buffalo Trace stuff. But yeah, I would also highly recommend batch 12. I actually chose it in a blind over George T. Stag 2019. Yeah, it comes in at 132.3 proof. It's but it trades out the heat for flavor, so doesn't taste as hot. At least that batch doesn't.
Chris, you picked batch 12 for one of your bourbon picks of the year, right? Sorry, spoiler alert, but yeah, I think you had that batch 12, right?
It was that batch. Really enjoyed it, big and round.
Yep.
Just brown sugar bomb in that one. To me, it lacked some of the complexity and the fruits that some of the previous batches had, but just, it didn't need any time to rest or anything. It just came out of the chute just going. It's great bourbon.
I'm impressed with it. I just bought it yesterday. I cracked it, had it last night just to try it, and I was like, yeah, it has been a long time since we've had it. It is very reminiscent. If you cannot find one of the BTAC edition of the Stags, this is a very good substitution.
I agree.
At a fraction of the price.
Yeah, it seems like those batches are getting better and better. I remember batch 4 I had, and I didn't really like it that much at all. And I think then I had batch 9, huge improvement. And I definitely need to source from batch 12 because it seems like they're getting better and better as they go along.
Yeah, good. And I know I have seen it in a couple of stores, and I will be going out and seeing if they're the same batch or if they are the batch 12 to pick one. Hopefully pick up batch 12 if I can find one. But no, like I say, that was one, and the bourbon craze, the bourbon boom that we've seen over the last 3 years. I mean, it's crazy what has become allocated. It's crazy what you can't find on shelves. It's crazy what you have to pay for stuff.
Now, can I ask, with this group that we have here, could I ask them to put on their future goggles and just say what they think's going to happen in the next year to 3 years, whiskey wise? You can go anywhere in the world, and let's just start backwards and go with Daniel. I went with you
muted.
first. Yeah, you're muted. You're muted.
Son of a bitch.
yeah. What was all that looking? We can come back. Rob looks ready.
Yeah, go to Rob.
All right, Rob.
Rob's all appearance. No go. Honestly, if you look back 5 years ago and you see what the prices of whiskey were then and how much everything's changed in just 5 years. Like I've been doing the channel for, I think I just hit 4 years as of Christmas Eve. And the prices alone, if that's any indication what the next 3 years is going to be, I'm a little bit terrified, to be honest with you, because it's getting harder and harder to get the stuff that I really want. And obviously I'm a little greedy because I want like 2 of everything at least. But yeah, I'm kind of terrified, to be honest with you, where the prices of whiskey is going. And I do kind of blame the bourbon industry for this, because stuff that shouldn't really be too rare is becoming rare because people have basements full of the exact same bottle. So yeah, that's my 2 cents, I guess.
Yeah, I think there has to be so much whiskey in barrels right now because every single distillery seems like they just bumped production in the last 5 years. So in 5 more years from now, you got to think all that stuff's going to be flooded, and prices, I think, will have to come down. I mean, if you look at every single distillery, and I think every single one is boosted production. So in the years to come, there's got to be such a flood of whiskey on the market. Prices will, I think,
all the distilleries opening up real quick for Eb Head. Thank you, Eb Head.
Meeting the Scotch Test legends in Glasgow in May was one of my highlights in 2019. Wish you all the best for 2020.
I got to wear that pillow, which he wears as a hat.
It's a pillow.
It's a pillow.
Yes.
It's like a Viking pillow.
Yep.
That's what they used when they raided. Kept them well slept. They could sleep through anything. There's no Viking PTSD.
Liquorhound, where are we going in 2 to 3 years?
Daniel,
I came up with a plan.
Okay,
he's got a plan.
Wait, sorry, Liquorhound.
No, go for it.
No, I'm going to vote on 2 things.
Okay.
I'm going to say, we're finally going to get to see what all these craft distilleries are capable of with long-term maturation.
Okay.
I mean, look at the oldest Texas distilleries are just now hitting a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So in the next 10 years, we're going to have real age numbers on a lot of craft distilleries across the U.S. Who are still relatively new, but are finally hitting we can have a 10-year-old whiskey, no big deal. Oh yeah, we can have a 12-year-old. We can have an 8-year-old. And so it'll be easier for the craft to match some of the age statements that are common with the big brands coming out of Kentucky.
Right.
I also think that as a business person, we are going to see the same condensing of industry that you see in any high growth industry, right? Which is if you follow the pattern of every new industry, it's always new, amazing, a lot of innovation, explosion of interest and options, and then a collapse of the people who got into it because it was a cool idea, but don't have staying power, condensing into the stable brands who have the ability to stick around long term. So I think there'll be a slight shrinking in craft industry specifically.
Interesting.
And I think what that will lead to is the availability of aged whiskey sourcing from non-big brands as all of these people collapse and their barrels are up for sale. And I think that will be really interesting.
I believe it's shrinkage, as George Costanza referred
A little
to
bit
it.
of shrinkage. I got nervous.
Yep.
Yeah, it was cold.
I was in the pool.
I like that. That'll be the takeaway. Daniel believes in shrinkage.
That's right. Firmly.
No, that is interesting. And like, you know, just from being down with you guys and seeing what you're doing and experiencing Texas, really, I mean, maybe I'm wrong in saying it feels like a region, but
Oh no, there's no question.
Yes,
Is its own animal.
Yes.
No question.
And that's a beautiful thing that we've seen just grow. You know, literally. I mean, you can go do your Texas whiskey trail. It takes you like a week.
Yeah.
Texas is big.
It's no joke.
Yeah. Yeah, you did
Well,
it. You did it on motorcycle, right?
I did, yeah, but since then there's been 11 other distilleries added, so it's a whole different ballgame now.
Right. I mean, that's amazing in and of itself, and I think there's more.
Yeah.
Well, and until we went to Scotland and we're driven around over there by Roy, and you go from coast to coast, Scotland can fit within Texas. Quite
Yeah.
comfortably.
Don't tell them though; they haven't realized that yet.
All right, let's continue.
Yeah, Chris, what do you think? 2 to 3 years down the road, where's whiskey going to be? What are we looking at?
So I think for the consumer part, I think a good aspect that Jeremy was kind of talking about was, you know, I think we're starting to see the prices get a little too high comparative to the quality of whiskeys. I know that's happening a little stronger in the Scotch world right now than even in, you know, let's say our bourbon world. But I think we're starting to hit that tilting point where people are starting to buy less of it because of that. So I think they're going to have to start reining that in a little bit and start either reining in the prices or bumping up the quality, which, you know, I would gladly accept that. The other thing, when you're talking about what Daniel was talking about, that's a great point about the Texas whiskeys coming of age. You know, the one thing I think everybody should know is that Texas whiskeys will never be Kentucky whiskeys. They're never going to taste like them, I don't think, regardless of age. But they are starting to get their own terroir, their own kind of
Thank you.
Yes, 100%.
I'm so sick of people who are comparing anything to Kentucky. It's like, look, is one Kentucky not enough for you assholes? Why do we need more Kentuckys? Kentucky is doing an astounding job of Kentucky. We don't need other Kentuckys.
Right. Yeah, I love it. I mean, even with what Tennessee's doing with the Lincoln County Method or whatever they've got going on, what Texas has got, what we got going on in Seattle, and I mean,
I think that comes down to that region thing and some of that flavor profile that you get from Texas. When people taste stuff blind, or when they have stuff, they'll be like, "Well, that's a Texas bourbon, that's a Texas whiskey," or they'll taste it and they'll be like, "That's a Kentucky bourbon. I can tell the difference."
I love that,
and I think it'll expand and it'll get better.
Right.
The people's knowledge, the people's experience, the people's their thought processes how they feel.
I'm looking at Daniel.
I would say that's probably pretty similar to, I know they're different countries, and obviously Kentucky and Texas are in the same country, but similar to like the Scotch versus like a Cavallon, for example. Like they're made the same way. They're trying to replicate something, and then all of a sudden they stumbled upon something way different. And because of the climate in Taiwan, you get this crazy whiskey that like does all sorts of weird things. Like you would think, like 13 years, we recently had a virgin oak. It's aged 13 years in a virgin oak cask, single malt, and the whiskey is incredible. Only 99 bottles came out of this cask.
Not even like 75.
Yeah, the angel share is like, those are some like seriously greedy angels, but
or happy Taiwanese distiller men.
That too, yes. I think
distiller men.
Or women.
It's just I think if people are looking for Cavallon to be a Scotch, it's not going to be that. So like, why even like it's like Japanese whiskey is not going to be Scotch. It should be something different, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the beauty of whiskey, is that every region makes something different.
Jason,
laughing at
great.
Daniel.
Yeah, I'm laughing at Jason. Jason was great there.
Oh, I missed Jason. What was Jason doing? I was transfixed once again.
Jason, what do you think?
Yeah, go, Jason.
What's your insight? What's going to happen?
I'm actually really curious to see where the demand and production is going to go. For me, Jeremy alluded to it a little bit, where there's so much more whiskey going in barrels, especially in Kentucky. You wonder where the demand is going to end up 2, 3, 4 years from now. Is it going to be as much as it is now? And I think the whiskey prices, are people going to get sick of waiting online for a bourbon in 2, 3 years? Or are people going to still keep doing this? Because it's out of hand now. I mean, any special release that comes out, people are online at 3 a.m. trying to get it. It's almost impossible to get an allocated bourbon. Even some of the stuff that's not supposed to be allocated, like Stag Junior, as you mentioned. I feel like, will the demand still be there in 3 to 5 years, especially with all the special releases that come out? We're going to be ramping up whiskey production. Every single big distiller has done expansions to meet the demand. Will the demand still be there? And also, I'm really looking forward to, and you guys already just kind of touched on it, is where these craft distillers will go. I think Daniel alluded to a really good point as far as we're going to see which ones are the ones that have that sustaining power. We're going to find out the ones that separate, the ones that are in it just for this is what's popular now versus the one that's in it for the long haul. And I'm really excited to see what comes out of that, because the different regionalities to me is what's most exciting in whiskey. Texas definitely has its own flavor profile. I feel like if you go to like Colorado, Washington area, they also have a very distinct flavor profile to me as well. Even here in New York, the whiskey they're making has it's a very exciting time. And just what's really curious to me is going to be the demand, and the pricing is where that's where it's going to kind of be the breaking point, I think, to see where that kind of falls.
Good call. Yeah. I think the secondary market is going to catch up to people. Everybody that's sitting on those, who's hoarded those bottles and sat on them, that's going to catch up to them. I think we're going to start to see a drop there. Or I guess maybe that's me hoping.
I keep saying when we're 80, I think we'll find some great bottles. But
there's a store here in town. They've got every BTAC bottle at $999 a piece.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, they wouldn't have them there if there aren't some people that's buying it at that. That's just crazy. That's out of control. I think it's going to catch up to them. The one thing I want to see American distillers, and especially the big boys, I want to see them do more experimentation.
Big boys.
We see, 7-year-old whiskey, or we see something with a 12-year age statement, or a 13 or a 15. But I want to see the big boys just do something different. We see it with Scotch. They're doing experimentation with casks, different wine caskings and stuff like that. And I want to start seeing American distillers doing something.
Yeah, I want that tequila cask.
How about we just see an American distillery in Kentucky come out with a new release that's available to the masses instead?
Yeah.
That'd be really. I mean, one distillery did it. Well, one owner did it. Look at Brown Forman, the Woodford Wheated whiskey, which I thought was one of my surprise bottles. I think it's delicious stuff at $35. And also the Four Roses did it with Small Batch Select. Mm-hmm. Old Forester did it with the Rye 100 proof. Those are new releases that are available everywhere, and they're great quality. I would love.
Yeah. So here's the complication with that. So
yeah,
I think we'll be better at that. Because right now the storyline is when one of these big brands creates a more accessible bottling, the storyline becomes, because for some reason, and I can't figure out, all of these big brands are terrible at marketing communication. And so inevitably they do something they think is a great idea, but they don't communicate it. And so then the public takes over the communication of what it is, and then it's all downhill. And so what happens with these special releases that are accessible is the general public says, oh, you're running out of whiskey and you're watering shit down to make it accessible to everybody, to try to just, go for the lowest common denominator. Oh, you're removing an age statement. Oh, you're lowering the proof. You know what I mean? And but I think once everyone realizes production is high enough that they're not worried about that, then people are going to be more willing to accept an entry level whiskey that is widely acceptable or widely accessible from a large brand.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you won't necessarily have to fight the battle of like, look, we know you have plenty of whiskey, so this was obviously a choice.
You're right.
Right now, when you release a low, cheap whiskey, everyone goes, "Oh, yeah, trying to make a dollar, huh?" Right?
Yeah. They should go like walk through one of their warehouses and go, there's 80 more like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But everyone equally gets pissed when they release something and you can't get it. It's like, oh, we know you have the whiskey. Why can't you release more of it? So
Right.
it's kind of like, you know, whiskey drinkers seem to be never happy these days. You know,
they should be.
That's called humans.
Yeah, that's true. Humans. So I hope maybe 3 years, it won't happen yet, but I would love a legal definition of an American single malt. That's all I would.
oh
thank
yeah.
you. Me too.
Yeah, I would love.
By the way, that's being aggressively worked on right now. So don't think it's not. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know they're working together. There's folks that have teamed up and they're trying to get it addressed, and I think it'll be a good thing. And folks can still play outside the lines, color outside the lines. They can call them. They can have an Oregon single malt if they want. They wouldn't have to fit a category unless they wanted to.
Right.
That's my hope.
Now, just talking, and I know there's a lot of different American single malts out there.
I love barley.
But let's tie this into Texas and Daniel, kind of. Balcones Mirador.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
Roy,
It is good.
Aqua Vitae just did a blind tasting online on his channel Thursday live stream, but he had several other channels, several other people involved. He mailed them samples. It was kind of the Aqua Vitae blind challenge. And nobody pinned the Balcones Mirador as a non-Scotch.
Right.
Right? I've been saying this, man. It is my single favorite release from Balcones, bar none. Yeah.
Yeah, after the first Bastards Ball, I just was in total and grabbed one offhand, I think, and so did Roy, and I was like, "Holy moly, this is good!"
And that ability to have a used cask especially in a place like Texas or Arizona or something, that's important. And right now we can't really do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Little cowbell, real quick.
Joe Miz
Attesta, I believe it is. Love the discussion tonight.
Yeah, it's a great discussion. Thank you. And what was that? Was that him talking?
Who was that?
I don't know. How did that come? Where did that even come from? I think Joe just hacked the channel.
All right, let's move into. Let's talk about, before we talk about whiskeys of the year, let's just talk about distilleries who we're watching. Or who we would say piqued our interest this year, and I'll start it off. I've got two. One Jason already brought up, and that's Bunnahabhain. I'm loving what they're doing. Of course, a lot of experimentation going on there that I'd like to see with some of our U.S. distilleries. And my second one is Deanston. Several bottles from there, several samples we've had, all good. And I'll hand off Bart. What do you think?
No, well, Deanston, when you and I agree, and we agree a lot, but not when our palates even align. Because everybody knows I lean peat. I love peat. You lean more sherried finishes and things. But I always say when we align, and we come in with close scores, that's a real interesting, because it doesn't matter. You've done it on peated stuff, something Oloroso'd. So I would agree. So I'm really interested. I know we're way down the line, but I'm just giddy that Port Ellen's coming around. So we got a chance to try some of the old stock, and I was kind of thinking, it's just going to be because it's old. Oh, it was so good, and I know it won't be that same juice. I know it, but holy moly! So
we'll just go clockwise here, Chris. What do you think?
I'm in agreement with the Bunnahabhains. The original PX release was fantastic, and this year's brandy finish was not quite as good as that, but it was really solid. Springbank, everything Springbank's been throwing out in the last few years has been tremendous. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to keep doing with the special finishes there. Lefroy is surprising me. Actually, I guess it's a lot of these Isla distilleries, because Ardbeg for a while there was in a real slump. And then this year with the 19 year, I was happy with it. The pricing, again, is still getting kind of out of whack, but I was at least happy to see the old Ardbeg profile starting to come back in, just some of their releases. And that's kind of also what's happening with Lefroy. For a long time, they were just getting that real heavy medicinal and just, I don't know, it's just a little too heavy-handed with that for my taste. But now that the new Carchus Triple Wood came out, and some of these cast strength batches are getting a lot better and more rounded. So there's quite a few out there that are actually getting a little better.
How was the new Carchus, the Triple Wood?
I named it my peated whiskey of the year.
Oh, very nice.
Has a lot of pipe tobacco notes, and I really enjoy that in it.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
Rob and Jeremy, what do you guys think? Where you guys go? What are you guys looking at? What are you watching?
Well, I guess we have to reiterate Springbank. I mean, we're big Springbank fanboys. Like almost everyone's becoming these days. 2019. I mean, the 10-year-old, I named that whiskey of my year, whiskey of the year. I thought that was great. The 21 this year was phenomenal. Combination of port and rum cask matured. I mean, just great stuff. And then the 25 from this year also really, really good. So those 3 bottles that we tried that came out this year, all great. I mean, and then we joined Springbank Society. Their single cask bottling we've had have been great as well. So definitely Springbank. Yeah, Deanston, of course, Deanston. I mean, good value whiskeys coming in. All their special releases like the Bordeaux cask, all that cask strength stuff at 10 years is really, really good. So I think those 2 distilleries for sure. And then one that I'm excited to try that I just bought a bottle of, Milduff. Lowland whiskey, very low production value, but I think it's, I mean, I've heard great stuff from Roy and from Ralphie about that. So that's like my most excited bottle to try in 2020 is that Milduff.
Yeah.
Lowland.
Yeah, pretty much all the same things. All things Springbank for sure. Longrow included, obviously Hazelburn included. But these guys are really blowing my mind right now. Glenallachie. Everything I try from Glenallachie right now is blowing my mind. I recently bought this PX Finish, which I still think the regular 12 release is a touch better, but this one's awesome. I love the 18. I recently tried that one. Just bought the 15 and the port 10-year-old. So Glenallachie is one I'm really excited about this year.
We haven't seen any in our areas. I don't think they're brought into Kansas yet, but looking forward to it. I know the 12 and the 15 both. I've looked at both of those online and just about hit the buy button, but haven't.
It's got like a crazy finish because it starts off very like almost you would think coastal. Like there's like salty notes and this like rocky kind of like influence in it, and then it finishes off with something that I don't know if like when I was earlier on in the channel I would have identified as peat, but it doesn't taste like peat. I don't know, it's a little bit smoky. Maybe they're recharring their casks before they're doing it. I'm not sure what they're doing, but the finish on these things are all incredible. So
yeah. I've got to point out the way Daniel can look at the screen is very much Steve McQueen, Yul Brynner, Magnificent Seven when they're on the wagon, and Steve McQueen's not supposed to talk because it's Yul Brynner's time. So Steve ends up checking his bullets and blowing on them and loading his shooter, and he steals the show without saying a word. That's all I say. Mash and drum.
I think from the Scotch side, there's a bunch I definitely want to try and that piqued my interest. Scott already brought up the Bunnahabhain. Bruichladdich is one that I love the transparency, the different sourcing from different farms of Islay for the different barleys. I love that about it and learning more and more about terroir and how that plays into the flavors of their whiskeys. Ones I want to try more, I want to try some more Kilholmans and some more Longmorns.
There you go.
I tried those kind of towards the end of this year, and I was really impressed with the flavor profiles of them. Of course, I had that epic Longmorn in the Whiskey Vault, and I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And then from a bourbon side, I'm interested in what Bardstown Bourbon Company is doing. they're contract distilling for a lot of different distilleries across Kentucky and beyond. But they're putting out some great product themselves, using some blending and also some sourcing. And I think they're probably one of the more forward-thinking new distilleries in Kentucky. Also looking forward to what Wilderness Trail puts out. You have Patrick Heiss there. He's just a wizard with yeast strains and what they're doing age-wise. You can put kind of Peerless in that. I'm just curious to see what these great quality whiskeys are going to do as they age, because they already taste a little bit older than they already are. And actually, Old Forester has a bunch of really cool whiskeys supposed to be coming out next year. So those are the kind of ones I have my eye on.
Daniel heard wizard and he peeked up a little bit.
Wizard, yeah. He was like, "What?"
Yeah, what?
sounds like a cult.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Word Academy.
Oh, I'm running out of light in here. I just realized.
Looks good. I just figured it got peated.
Yeah. Like, can I start by saying the story I don't want to hear anything else about ever again?
Yes. Do it.
It's Iron Root.
Oh, no.
Hey.
Settle down, man.
Mute him.
No, it's every.
Oh no! Bring him back! Bring him back! Bring him back!
Those guys, son of a bitch. No, it's only because Robert was in the comments in the holidays. I had to drop that one in there. All right, for 2020. So here's what I'm. Okay, stop laughing about that. Okay. I have been pleasantly surprised with the amount of craft distilleries that are putting out stuff that I think is, holy crap, you're playing in the big camp now. And it's not just good for craft, it's competing at every level with every brand I've ever loved. And I think that that's pretty cool. And so I'm going to vote on, I'm excited to see where craft goes in 2020.
Yeah, good call.
And I'm in a position, luckily, where I'm getting to try an astounding variety of really random small batch releases from weird baby distilleries with no distribution. And so I think that's really one of the only perspectives I have a good handle on right now. I mean, there's plenty of distilleries I really love. And I mean, I am 100% on with Lafroig is just doing God's work. And same with Bunahab, and same, I mean, so many, excited to see what's happening with all the Aaron stuff, Isle of Aaron. But man, I'm most excited, not just craft in the US, but Irish craft is exploding right now. And son of a bitch, if I have not been sometimes waking up in the middle of the night waiting for Waterford to finally release a fucking bottle.
Yeah. I'll
Not
join,
until it's time.
I know.
I'll join you on a little rant right there with Irish whiskeys. And that's because I've gotten more into Irish whiskeys within the last year. But Irish whiskeys, we need more. I mean, we need experimentation there. I want to see more offerings, because I go to the liquor store and it's the same thing every time. You know, you see the same Tullamore Dews, you see the same green spot and yellow spot, you see the same Jamesons, you see the same. Bring more offerings. And I want to see that from Irish whiskeys. I mean, and there's some good ones out there, some outstanding
the
whiskeys.
Connemara. He's not a fan. He's not a fan. I liked it. It was all right.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, this year, and that's because my wife got it. My wife has sat around with me for years, and whatever I'm sipping, I'm like, here, try this.
Right.
And I get the pea shiver from her. I get the I get the funny faces.
The pea shiver. I don't know if I've ever heard that one.
I get the cuss words.
Yeah.
And finally, one night, she goes, "Hey, give me some more of that whiskey you gave me the other day." And I'm like, "Huh? What are you talking about?"
Rhymes with redbreast.
Yeah. And she goes, "Whatever that whiskey was you gave me on Saturday. Let me try some more of that." It was Lustau.
Oh, it was Lustau. Okay, I thought it was the 15.
So I mean that starts it for her. But yeah, Redbreast Lustau 15, 21.
Yeah, I came in to
12.
film something. I'm like, damn, you've been hitting that Redbreast 15. He's like, I'm like, you're really ripping through that.
My dad told me once, look, never marry a woman that likes Guinness. Because you can't be guaranteed it'll stay in the fridge.
But no, and so because of that, though, I've bought more Irish whiskeys for her, more to try, different versions of them.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the Redbreast line I love. The yellow spot, the red spot, the red spot, especially this year, may or may not be in my top whiskeys. But I want to see more from the Irish whiskey. I just want to see them bring more different bottlings, different variations. I have found, I do believe, now there's some good NASs out there, but you have to start 10 to 12 years. As long as your NASs are higher in the age range. But if it's got an age statement on it, really 10 to 12 years with an Irish whiskey, and they really just start to get fruity.
I'm with Daniel a little bit. I think Waterford's going to kind of kick that door open.
Yeah, I agree.
Has been my favorite Irish so far. The 16-year-old is amazing. I love the 16-year-old, the Tircano. And
what is it?
The Tircano. Sorry, is our mic okay over here?
Yeah,
good.
Tircano
I thought
was
you
the
said
intro.
Chicano. I was like, Chicano? What are we in East LA? What are you talking about?
Jabroni.
Yeah.
Really good these days. No, the Tircano 16 I really love, and anything Tircano that I've had so far has been awesome. So
Tircano. Okay, I'll have to look for those. I mean, I've seen one or two, but I'll have to
Tell me you didn't hear Chicano.
I heard something different.
Just messing with you. You're good, man.
my twang. That's
Uh-oh. I think Daniel had to go. Or is he
wait.
back?
Oh,
no, he's
there we
back.
go.
He's
Okay.
back.
So,
Oh, he switched.
Switch.
Look at that. Yeah, mashing drums.
you switched, son of a bitch. Hey, high five.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I lost where we were at.
Well, I will say, talking about the Irish whiskeys, the one thing I've been putting in their ear and a few people I've been talking to is we need more cast strength releases from the big distilleries.
Yes.
Yes.
Independent, but I mean, show us what you can do. And they've assured me, they said it's coming. So hopefully in 2020, we'll start seeing a lot more of those.
Good. Excellent. I was just looking to see if what I'd had that was different as far as Irish goes, but
I do not like these glasses.
my wife loves them.
Oh.
So I got out the 2 Irish glass.
They offend my feminine
Bart is
hands.
effeminate hands. He's
Right.
not used to working.
No.
I keep those on the bottles
Oh.
over there so the wife knows where they're at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like what was that? The Jameson has the 18-year-old out. It's 40% ABV. I was
just
looking
love
at
their
something.
Black Barrel.
There was another offering from an Irish whiskey, and it was 40%, and I refused to buy it for the money that it's coming in at. Because I'm like, they need to offer higher ABVs.
Wow, you refused.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried the SMWS pastries and sweet treats?
Nope.
No.
That stuff is gangster.
And that's what
Did you say gangster?
Yeah, he's back to East LA. No wonder you did say Chicano. You were messing with it.
Yeah.
You were messing with it. You were like Chicano, and then you changed it.
Yeah.
I remember reading a few articles on how Irish whiskey was kind of the fastest growing category in whiskey this year. They sold something like almost 10 million cases internationally. I mean, just crazy numbers. So I think there's a huge opportunity to see some more. And I agree. I want to see more Irish whiskeys with higher ABV. I'm sick of seeing special releases that come out, they're 40%.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's a great gateway into, whiskey in general, especially if you want something softer, something a little bit less harsh on the palate. But yeah, show us what you can do. Give us some higher ABV. Give us a full flavor profile. I want to taste all those buttery notes to like the full effect.
I feel like
That's why that Redbreast cask strength is so good.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
really. I mean, I feel like Irish is so similar to Canadian whiskey and where they're at as far as the majority of that whiskey is mixing whiskey, and then the stuff that's sipping whiskey, it's great, but then it's very few far in between, right? Like we have really good stuff that comes out in the Canadian market, but there's only really a couple distilleries that are releasing stuff that's worthwhile sipping neat. The rest of it is just all mixing whiskey. But yeah, I mean, I think both Irish and Canada can step up their game because there's great stuff. I mean, you try it, you're like, where is all this whiskey? Like, why isn't this more available? Why isn't it higher ABV? Why isn't it cask strength? Give me some single barrel stuff. Like, is there any Canadian single barrel whiskey? Well, it's very rare. And like, why?
Yeah, the Alberta Premium this year was awesome. That cask strength, I thought it was like, it's probably pretty young, but Daniel, you had a chance to. I watched your review on it. That the Alberta Premium cask strength, I absolutely fell in love with
because finally, right?
Yeah.
And I always the funny thing is, I think we taste the best of what they do when they're allowing other people to source their whiskey.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, and it's a rye that like you get all kinds of like apricot notes and peach notes, and like, where is like I've never experienced a rye anything like that before in my life.
Jason Fisk says, "Hey, the proper 12."
Oh, sweet! I can't count how many people commented on our. Were you guys getting like 30 a day of people going review proper 12 as soon as it came out?
And actually, we've never tasted it.
Yeah, he didn't want it. He refused. He was like, "I will not. I will not do it."
Me too.
I had
until Rex was like, "Look, we're gonna do a celebrity episode. We got to try it."
Right.
I was like, "All right, fine."
Yeah. I like jabbed him in the face, put him in a rear naked choke, and said, "Get it!" And he was like, "I will not do it."
I learned this from Conor McGregor.
Right. He wouldn't tap out or nothing. I was like, "Hey!" He just wore me out. And then I was tired. Got a drink.
Real quick, we're on our second dram, the second blind dram that I poured for Bart. This is an independent bottling of Bunnahabhain.
Nice.
From Alexander Murray and Company. It's a 28-year-old. This one was distilled in 1988, the year that Bart and I graduated high school.
88's great, baby.
It's cask strength at 15.2%.
You guys made me feel a little bit young there. That's nice.
Yeah.
I don't normally get that. Yeah.
I purchased this in Austin at Total Wine and Spirits for, I think it was $250, $260 for a 28-year-old.
Pulled the trigger on it.
Bunnahabhain.
Good one.
Unbelievable. I like it.
And we made Daniel feel young.
Yeah,
I know. I was only 8 years behind you.
Oh, wow.
We're actually in independent Bunna as well. This is the Signatory Vintage 12-year-old cask strength.
Hold on. Show me.
Wait, which distillery?
Signatory Vintage Bunnahabhain 12-year-old.
Bunnahabhain. Okay.
That is gangsta.
That is gangsta.
Nice.
How much for being from that Chicano shop?
Yeah.
They're famous for their Bunnahabhain releases.
I had to go with that.
You know, my favorite thing about Bunnahabhain releases is that for some reason, 25 has become a magic number for releasing Bunnahabhain. And so I currently have 4 versions of Bunnahabhain 25, and only one of them's from Bunnahabhain.
Really?
Hey!
Hey, there we are.
Chad, welcome.
What's happening?
How is everyone?
Good. How y'all doing?
Yeah.
Good.
Everybody's waving at you. They know how to look like the Brady Bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, just a bunch of boxes.
Yep.
Hey, thanks for coming. We were just talking about distilleries that we're kind of watching that we liked what they did this year, or maybe things that we're looking forward to.
Ooh, I've got one.
Oh, he's got one already. Wow. Chad comes in. He's got it.
What's he got?
Woodinville. Yeah.
Oh, we just reviewed that last week, and I was blown away at how good it was.
Yeah, their stuff's really impressive.
Yeah.
They're not messing around. This one is a what do you call it? Distillery exclusive. Yeah.
Is that the cask strength, guys? Because it's amazing.
Yeah, cask strength, and it's the
Applewood.
Applewood staves. Yeah.
Wait, they were the ones who did the port barrel finish one that we got, right?
They do that too, I think.
Okay, because I think that's one of the ones that we got was the port finish.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, less like groundbreaking, but Heaven Hill, obviously. I love this Parker's Heritage Heavy Char rye, and then the William Heaven Hill from this year is stupid good.
Yeah, I think this Heaven Hill distillery is really catching on. I think they're going to make it. I think and
This is
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
my favorite bottle of this year. We're doing blind taste tests right now to see, but
this is
Is that the 12?
Oh yeah, that's that was the 12-year
it's so good.
batch proof. That was stupid good.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you guys drinking? What do we miss?
If you could just repeat everything that
Yeah,
you
can you just
said.
repeat
Snipers in again.
Eric Waite says now that they are married, we just call them Chara or Shad.
Or Shad.
It's better than sad.
That's
I like sad. I'm going with that one.
sad.
That's 10 years in.
Right?
True.
All right. Hey, now that you guys have shown up, I know this sounds like I've been waiting for this moment, but I'm going to disappear in a couple of minutes here because I have to go down to the distillery.
Ooh, now that you're here, I'm
So
That's just a cool sentence.
I know.
nice.
Just a
Told you he
cool.
didn't like us.
No, it's just you're finally there's somebody better looking than me on this group.
Oh.
And so that means I got to get out of here. I can't be upstaged like that.
That is pretty.
That's hilarious.
So I am going to say, guys, thank you so much for having me on. This has been a real treat, and I don't get to do these very often, but it was a joy. And thanks for letting me be a part of this community.
Well, hey, Daniel, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And the community appreciates it. Real
Definitely.
quick, we haven't talked about it yet. Do you have a whiskey of the year? Do you want to name anything? Have you looked at that?
No, I really don't.
All
We
right.
were trying to come up with that for Rex and I were trying to come up with an end of year video, and we spent 2 hours arguing about it and gave up.
If Rex if you had to pour whiskey off of your tramp stamp into Rex's mouth, what would it be?
that sounds so gross.
Oh,
You know what I would do?
Yeah.
But look, if I was gonna make Rex drink whiskey off of my tramp stamp, it would be RK. That fake whiskey that sued us or tried to sue us.
Oh God! See, you, Scott, you surprised me. The way you eat, that was a crafted sentence, and you did it on the fly, and I liked it. It had a whole visual aspect that was where I didn't want
it was almost
So many layers.
visual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not getting that image out of my head for a while.
I
Yeah,
know.
not
All right,
anytime
thanks,
soon.
Daniel.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
See you, brother.
See ya.
God, that was good. That was a good send off. I guaranteed you were gonna leave. Liquorhound almost hit like disconnect.
We like
Oh,
this.
Disconnect.
We had we kind of just went through everybody. I know Chad and Sarah, you just come in, and probably everybody that's watching knows. You guys are really you're bourbon, mainly 99.9% bourbon.
But
Oh,
Scotch.
we are doing 12 days of a Christmas calendar right now that's like majority Scotch.
Woo!
Yeah. So every day is a surprise.
Yeah. Majority not bourbon, I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, it probably does.
3 out of 5 have been Scotches so far.
That's true.
And 1 Irish whiskey and 1 bourbon.
No, there's been 2 bourbons. There's been the Breckenridge, and then what possibly happened today.
I don't know.
now have you guys already been shooting reviews?
Well, yeah. So that's a daily calendar, kind of like the Christmas advent calendar that we did.
But
So-
24 days wasn't enough, so we
No.
decided to do 12 more.
So when it's all going to be said and done, we'll have put out 36.
Yes. Good
Sounds
job.
like a Hanukkah version.
Right.
Yeah, 36 episodes in a row, 36 days.
And then we're taking a break.
Yeah, then we're taking a little
I need
break.
like 2 dry weeks at least.
Yeah.
Like,
That whole New Year's resolution thing.
that-
So what scotches have you found? I mean, I know originally, and we even did a live stream.
hmm
And I mean, some people like bourbon; they just don't like scotch. Some people like scotch; they just don't like bourbon. It's got to hit your palate, right? Have you guys found anything that hits your palate? You said, okay, this one is good.
The day one, and I'm gonna butcher this name. Tullibardine.
Tullibardine.
Yeah, Tullibardine. Yeah,
Tullibardine. Yeah, I really liked that one. Are you looking for the picture?
I'm looking for.
Yeah, that was my favorite one so far,
Yeah.
actually.
The best thing about us is when we try to pronounce Scotch names.
We always get them right.
Yeah.
Right out of the chute. It's like we were born speaking Gaelic.
Do you want to take that one?
Cavalin?
Yeah, Cavalin. The port cast
There
finish.
you go. You're going to
Had that one.
That's
The Glendronach cast strength.
Nice.
I enjoyed that one, and then the Cheetah Japanese whiskey.
That's
That's
that one.
When did you have these? What did I miss?
oh, you weren't there.
Yeah, it's not important.
Eric from Scotch and Time invited me down to Bardstown Bourbon Company, and it was all day. It was all
Okay. I see. Cool. Yeah, Scott.
Yeah, we're starting to appreciate it, and I think what this calendar is helping us really do is find what we can appreciate from anything, just about.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Chris, Liquorhound, what got you into whiskey? Was it bourbon? Was it Scotch? Peated? Sherried?
It was bourbon. Actually, when I was I think I was 21 when I first started getting into whiskeys. And that's when I first tried Lefroy, and my palate was not ready for it. And so for several years, I was kind of weaned off of anything Isla. And then I came back to it and started appreciating it. But when hearing Chad and Sara speaking about getting, learning and getting into that, the one thing that I would recommend trying for anyone that's coming from the bourbon world into Scotch is always aged grain whiskeys. So if you can find 20-year and up grain whiskeys,
yes,
going to have a lot of that characteristic, but also leading you right into the Scotch world.
Perfect.
Yeah, they're smoother, they're lighter,
Yeah.
there's really fruity, vanillas, creams.
Corn.
Yep. Yep.
Nice. I like the way you talk.
Now we've got to do. There was
Wow.
a parting gift
Yeah.
from Daniel. So cowbell.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, from Daniel Whittington. Just because it's end of the year, thanks for having him on. Buy a bottle you would have not otherwise,
Wow.
probably.
Sounds like what he means is
great.
peated. He means
I was
peated.
gonna say sherry.
Peated.
Definitely sherry.
Your peanut butter and my chocolate. Oh, that was nice.
And Gretchen forgives Daniel now for shitting on Iron Root,
Oh.
as she says.
Oh, that was he was
He didn't.
just
It was a joke.
no,
It
he
was-
was
he
just
was-
teasing. He was
he
teasing
didn't want it.
licorice. Yeah. He didn't
So
really
with that $200, what you guys should look for is a bottle of this. I know it's not whiskey, but Chris knows all about this for sure. It's the
was that Russian?
I love how I'm squinting.
What is it?
It looks like it's from like Russia.
it's no, it's
It looks like an Indiana Jones prop.
from south of your border.
Does it have a dinner bell on top?
That's literally something for your six.
No, this, yeah, well, no.
Glass Azul Reposado.
So it's Plaza Azul. It's tequila,
Oh.
and it's phenomenal. Honestly, one of the best, by far the best tequila I've ever had. I was afraid of sipping tequila up until I tried this, and now I want more Plaza Azul and whatever else they have to offer. So.
There's definitely some good tequilas out there. But what happened was you were showing the bottle, and I had the video locked on you guys.
Reposado.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Bart heard Chris Liquorhound saying what he recognized the bottle.
I couldn't hear it. Yeah, you were. I heard it. I thought again we had somebody hack it in. It was beautiful. I heard it. It was like in perfect Spanish pronunciation.
I knew Chris would know exactly what that is.
Very well done, Chris.
Thank
It was
you,
like
thank
a
you.
voice out of the dark.
Sorry. They spend
I loved it.
they spend like 10 or 12 hours painting each bottle.
Yeah, well, and
Yeah, each one's hand painted, so they through the whole glazing and everything process. It's many hours.
you tried the black bottle. I'm not sure. Like, I know it's like 700 or 900 Canadian, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but
700 Canadian.
Yeah, because above this one, so what's crazy about the Clase Azul is that you have the Blanco and Reposado, which are roughly about, I think it's about $60 to $80 roughly. And then all of a sudden there's a big jump up to the Añejo, which is about 500.
Mm.
And that's in a white bottle with a more like a camel tan color paint on it. And then they have the Ultra that he's talking about, the sherry finish. Well, not sherry finish, sherry matured tequila. It's 5 years, all in sherry cask. It's amazing, but it's like $1,000, $1,500.
Mm.
That's the one.
Very, wow, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Install.
Ben says, cheers to 2019 Whiskey 2. Cannot wait till 2020 for what y'all review. Proper 12 with Daniel's donation. That's not a $200 bottle.
No, we'd have to, yeah.
Gregor's fighting in like 3 weeks, so it's a good time to get the proper 12 going.
There you go. That is true.
Mm.
Wow. I like Chris, that information.
So,
that was beautiful.
We started the night. I had 3 blind pours for Bart. The first one we had not had for a while, George Stagg Jr.
Nice.
Batch 13. Was very nice. I just picked it up yesterday. It'd been a while since we'd been there. The second pour was a Bunnahaven 28-year-old independent bottling.
Oloroso in there.
We've moved on to the third dram, and for the year, Lagavulin. This was the Phage bottling from 2018, and it's an 18-year Lagavulin. This we opened and drank when we did our live stream telethon, or not telethon, but fundraiser for Matt Young.
Right.
So the only time we've had this was when we did that fundraiser. Matt passed this year in October. Eric Waite, and he's tuning in the comments, and maybe I'll see if he can come in here in a little bit if I can get him an invite. But Eric Waite was on during the fundraiser. He bid on a bottle of Ardbeg that was donated from Ardbaggy. He won that bottle. Eric Waite won a tour at Iron Root. He bid on several items. He's also done recently a review of that Ardbeg Very Young on his channel, and has up links to the Matt Young Honorary Adversus fundraising page.
Very nice.
So
that goes to his family.
Yep. Matt Young was a co-worker of ours, developed pancreatic cancer. He went through last year's holidays through December. It was celebrated with his family. They had no idea in January he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Was given 2 to 3 months to live.
He had back pain and said, "Hey, I'd better go get it checked out."
Yep.
And then they said, "We need to meet," and they said, "You probably got 3 to 4 weeks to live." He was like, "What?"
Yeah.
So
he ended up making it till October, though. He tried a few different therapies, different treatments and stuff. So he was able to spend a lot more time with his family than what he thought.
Right. Came on the 12 hours of boom.
Yep. So our third dram is our Lagavulin 18, which we opened and shared during that. Now, this bottle was gifted to us from Roy Aquavite when we met him in Austin 2 summers ago for the Bastards Ball.
Beautiful.
So let's, if you're ready to talk, Liquorhound, Chris, I know you just released your Whiskeys of the Year list.
Yeah.
Correct.
Just maybe a Cliff Notes version, and maybe lead us up to if you want to talk
or
about
a highlight, but we want people to go watch your whole list as well. So whatever you want to highlight that would drive them to that video.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about my videos is I always like to give my initial pick, and then I always like to give a couple of honorable mentions or runner-ups, just so that if you can't find the initial one, hopefully you can find some of the others. And I don't do a lot of allocated. So, as much as I enjoyed the Parker's Heritage rye this year, it's not going to make the list. I did do the Old Forester rye 100 proof as a runner-up. What else did I do? Oh, Glengoyne 21. That was a fantastic non-peated Scotch this year. Of course, we already mentioned the Stagg Junior as being my bourbon pick of the year. Let's see, what else did I go with? Oh, Canadian whiskey. So I didn't have the luxury of having that Weiser's 23 that y'all were sipping on, but I did go in with the Rare Perfection 14, which was a 100.2 or 4 proof Canadian rye, and I enjoyed that. And it goes to show just what Jeremy and Rob were talking about. That higher, bigger ABV in those Canadian whiskeys can make a big difference.
Definitely. Nice. And that show, your channel, you just put that show out, what, yesterday?
No, just like maybe about 3 or so hours ago.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I was working on it earlier and finally got it up. Yeah.
Yep,
Good.
he was just uploading it earlier.
We're going to send an invite, but while that's going on, Don Nishida, little cowbell for Don. That's what we do. We get those that come in. And cheers to my or he says my favorite channel. Thanks to you. All I may be poorer in the wallet, but richer in my whiskey experience. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thanks, Don.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Don's a good man.
Rob
Don moved to Hawaii, right?
Well,
Isn't he in Hawaii?
that's where he's been. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where he is. Yeah, I don't know when he moved there.
That was a while.
Lifetime.
Yeah. I don't know about lifetime.
Rob and Jeremy, what do you guys want to talk about as far as do you? I know you guys have both done already released your whiskeys of the year. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so took a little bit of heat this year because my whiskey of the year was pretty expensive, and it's this one right here. It's the Springbank 21-year-old 2019. I absolutely love this stuff. It was the port and rum matured. Fantastic whiskey. I recommend it. Like, buy it with 4 guys. Like, that's what we did. Like, that's the only reason we're able to afford a lot of the stuff that we buy is because we buy it with 4 guys. We split it 4 ways. But my bargain pick of the year is probably this. It's the Hazelburn 14. This was awesome. It's Oloroso casks, 9,900 bottles. So you should be able to find it. It's a 2019, so it's going to sell out, but it probably still has – there are still some on shelves. Really, really good stuff. Other than that, I mean, Jeremy has a couple that I agree with, so I'll let him take it from here.
How about Rob? How about a bourbon pick? If you picked a bourbon, what would
Wild Turkey Revival. I tried that this year and I fell in love. I thought it was phenomenal. I mean, I really like this one as well. The Michter's 10-year-old 2019. It's supposed to have older bourbon in this one as well, but the Wild Turkey Revival blew me away. I'm not sure what people have against bourbons being aged in wine casks or whatever else. I know that there's it's like a bourbon cult out there for like some people that they just want their like virgin oak. That's it, nothing else. And I get it, and they want their stuff to be barrel proof and whatever else. But honestly, that Wild Turkey Revival is phenomenal in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, real quick, for value or just value whiskey of the year, I went with the 2019 single barrel Knob Creek store picks. I grabbed a couple. They're like 14 plus years old for $50 to $60 US, a 60 ABV. What a great whiskey. And some of those are still available out there. So yeah, I know like Scott and Bart, you reviewed one of them. I got a couple from a couple different store picks. And what great bourbon that is. Knob Creek, kind of the bourbon that got me into the whole whiskey game originally. So yeah, awesome value for that. And yeah, 10-year-old was my whiskey of the year this year as well.
Which one?
Springbank 10.
Springbank 10. Really?
The 2019 bottling of that, really good. A lot of ex-bourbon influence with a little bit of sherry, but whatever they did this year was awesome. Loved it.
Very nice. Good. And joining us while you was talking, Eric Waite did send him the invite. He was ready to go. He came in. He looks like he's probably
heel slay.
He's probably pouring the last of his Ardbeg very young.
And he's been out chopping wood or lumberjacking or something.
Is Eric the new face of Brawny?
This is my wannabe Ralphie jacket.
Oh, I love it.
I've actually had it for 20 years.
Yeah, I don't say anything. I'm wearing manga.
Yeah, so Bottle Kill just finished this one. It actually didn't make my top 20 for the year, but it's still an absolutely fantastic whiskey. Most of my my top 10 for 2019 will post on New Year's Day, but most of mine, they're from my experience, from my travels, so which makes them difficult to get, and that's something I reviewed. But one that made my top 10, there's a piece of peat at the bottom of my glass now. The one that made my top 10, but is widely available that I highly recommend. The Glenlivet Nadura peated cask.
Oh, agreed.
61.5% ABV, cask strength basically, and widely available. and it has just a hint of that smoke. If you're not wanting to get smacked upside the face. So if I had a whiskey of the year that wasn't necessarily my number one in terms of my top 10, but number one of the year in terms of availability, this would be it.
We had either last year or maybe towards the end of 2018 or 2017 was our intro to Glenlivet Nadura peated. And I've got a bottle of it right here.
Blew me away.
Yeah.
Very surprised because this is an unpeated whiskey.
Right.
That's aged in casks that used to have peated whiskey.
Right.
And it's delicious.
And it's only about $70, give or take, and it's widely available.
But Eric, I just poured. Still had a little bit of the sample that after Austin, you took your bottle of the Ardbeg Very Young that you bought during the fundraiser for Matt Young, and you shared it down there. When you got home, you sent Bart and I both, I think, a 2-ounce sample of it. This is what's left here because we did a live stream with it as well. But we'll just toast you real quick. And Matt Young.
And I forgive Bart for not showing up in the live stream that we did last time because he was playing board games.
I was playing board games with the family, and oddly enough, I drank a little bit too much wine.
Oddly enough, that's my nickname, by the way.
I literally looked down and went, "Oh my God!"
Thank you, though, Eric, and thanks from Matt's family and everything you've done for them, and the video that you just posted and the links with the fundraisers. And
thanks to Art Baggy.
Thanks to Art Baggy as well. So, and Chad and Sarah, you guys came in. You were doing a live stream that day. We started our live stream. You guys even came on and donated. There was a Jägermeister shot that was donated.
That is true.
T-shirt. Jägerbomb, yeah.
2 of them.
Good old Jägerbomb.
I think some T-shirts and stuff. So you guys helped out as well during that.
Now I saw you hold up a bottle there. What was that you held up a little?
Someone just asked. I just poured something off this. This is the RC6 maker.
Yes. Yep. We did that on horseback.
Yeah. So someone asked in the comments. So
cool.
I pulled it up.
We did the whiskey on horseback.
Well, I'm sorry that wasn't clear enough. We did that on horseback. We were mounted.
We did the review on it. Hey,
so look, Sarah, look at you like, what the hell? We literally were. We were on a horse.
That's awesome.
Have you guys released your picks of the year yet?
Not yet.
No.
We're working on it. Doing the 36 episodes has definitely gotten in the way of that because I'm like, I can only drink so much and also be like,
it's hard.
Yeah, I'm like, that really sounds like first world problems. I have to drink so much good whiskey. It's so tough.
But
it is.
Yeah, so our best of 2019 won't come out until 2020, which will be a first for us, but it's also the first time that we've done 36 episodes in a row. But we're still in the process, and our methodology, I guess you want to call it, is we get little 4-ounce sample bottles and we put 2 or 3 ounces, about 3 ounces in them, and mix them up, and then we'll just, one night we'll grab a bottle and pour from it and label it with the letter on the bottom of the bottle is the name of it. Of course, we avoid that, but then we'll go and we'll score it out of 100, which is new. We never do out of 100 scoring, but we do it because we know we can't do like a flight fight of however many 20 different contenders. So then by the end of it, after we go through all of them, we'll add up the scores, out of 200 and determine what our top 5 is, and then we'll do a blind flight fight of those to determine what it is. So it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Process.
And out of 18 or 20, we're on like number 4 right now.
Wow. That sounds like our shootouts, but with twists. I like it.
Yeah. And it's kind of like what Perry does, but not like it's a little bit different. Our scoring's just a little bit different. So it's just hard because we have to do them on different nights. So there's no way to be like having without a scoring system, like to have the exact same judging scale on different nights because things can affect you differently, I guess.
I mean, we know just from what we've tasted, what we think will be in the top 5, but we know it
didn't work out that way last year.
We know to never let that just be our answer. We got to do it blind.
What do you think will be in there?
I think this guy.
I think If I had to put money on anything, it would be this one.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah. Well, here, let me see. Sarah, I got to say, when you were doing the calendar, and I didn't watch all the episodes, but there was one day, it was the Old Forester. Was it the 1910?
It was.
You called that by the nose.
I did.
Completely blind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell?
Wow.
She's a machine.
No. So it just depends on the day. You know, some days I'll smell something. I'm really good at Brown Foreman. Like, I know, I would say 90% of the time I can get to, okay, this is from Brown Foreman, but what is it? And 1910 is just so unique that I think that's probably why.
But I think even to do that just off of the nose, I mean, with 100 different bourbons, and you smell something, even say it's Brown Foreman.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a few.
Working on it because we've got a big bourbon line coming up in January.
That's true.
We came in, we tied for second last year, and I'm like, ooh, I gotta win.
Yeah.
I must defend.
So we've been training.
Yeah. So I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But
Chad, what do you think will be in there? What do you hope will make your top?
Well, I agree with this one. Our stocks have been collectively blown off by this William Heaven Hill, which kind of sucks because it's just, it's one, it's expensive, two, it's distillery only.
yeah.
So that kind of sucks. But
But it's so good.
yeah, the LEs have been good to us this year, like the Parker's Heritage Heavy Char Rye. I thought that was really good.
What else is in there?
Oh, this guy, the Barstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series.
Yeah.
Especially since some people will say, "Oh, if it's sourced,
Or if it's blended or whatever, source blended.
if it's sourced, if they're a non-producing distiller, then it's not really bourbon." And you're like, so this is like a tribute to the art of blending. Yeah, and I love their transparency because right here on the side of the bottle, they'll tell you the percentage of what mash bill of what year and everything, which is really cool.
And if you know enough, you could probably put it
Yeah, you can put two
together. Yeah. Yeah, I want to uncork that Woodenville, see if that goes in there too.
Yeah.
I don't know. We threw our barrel pick from this year in there. Like, it can't technically win because it's a barrel pick, but we just kind of want to see where it shakes out.
Yeah. Just for fun.
What else do we put in there? I don't know.
Well, this guy's in there, the RC6.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I forget.
Yeah, that's in there.
With 20 things in there, I think. Some little books in there.
The George C. Stagg.
This year's George C. Stagg. We didn't get any Lindler Weller this year.
Yeah.
Bummer.
It's getting tougher and tougher, isn't it?
Yeah, can't win them all.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
I was gonna say it's Bourbon Night. Also donated 2 T-shirts to that auction, which I won at the auction. And then Sara was busy, but Chad came on my channel.
Yes.
And then, so I wear those shirts to bed. So now, whenever I wear them, I think of you.
Hold on just a second. I gotta mute.
That's not creepy at all.
I can't decide if it's like or like
Eric,
oh.
Eric just got muted for that comment.
He muted Eric.
They are really soft.
They are.
Ooh.
I'm wearing one now. Hey.
Egyptian spun cotton.
I brought Eric back.
Yeah, we had to get like a couple of different variations shipped and like wear them ahead of time because I was like, if it's not soft, I don't want to sell it.
Must be soft.
I hate buying a shirt and then getting home and being like it shrinks or it just feels weird. I don't know.
Jason, whiskeys of the year. Have you released that? Are you ready to talk about, or maybe a generality?
Yeah, I haven't released it yet. I always have to release it in 2020. I'm usually in New York for 2 weeks before the end of the year. So, but yeah, I mean, to kind of echo Chad and Sarah's top bourbons, I have a few of those in my top. I think I'm going to be splitting between. I mentioned it a little bit before, between some of the allocated bottles and some of the kind of doing maybe a top 5 or top 6 of my favorite allocated ones. My favorite ones in there this year that I tried were Before Roses 2019 limited edition small batch. I thought was delicious this year. The William Liver Weller 2019 Kentucky Owl Batch 9. Booker's 30th is up there too. As far as stuff that's a little bit easier to get, a little bit better priced. I definitely have a Bardstown Bourbon Company bourbon in there. The Discovery, the Fusion was up there for me. The WB Sapple from Wild Turkey. Booker's Country Ham. Elijah Craig C919 is in there. Four Roses Small Batch Select, I thought was a phenomenal release, especially for the price and the value. So there's a lot in there to like. I kind of do the same thing along the same lines that Chad and Sara do. I do a blind tasting of kind of my top 5, see what shakes out, just kind of help me figure out what I'm going to place where. But right now, there's so many bourbons that I like this year. It's really getting harder and harder to kind of fit them into a neat box. Kind of have to distill all those choices down and get it to, at least some kind of a process. So I think the blind tasting definitely helps that. And it's always fun to do blind tasting. So especially when you're home by yourself and you can just collapse on the floor. It's great.
Yeah.
Right. Drinking alone used to be frowned upon. Now that's like how we get anything done.
Yeah. So yeah, but those ones that I mentioned will be up there because those are easily. I'll have a couple of other fun categories in there, like most disappointing bourbon or whiskey I tried, most surprising one. Some of those are fun to do as well.
I thought about doing that as well. If we should do a most disappointing or most.
I'm almost never disappointed.
One like a bourbon that I hated at first, but now I love. That was kind of a fun category.
If you're ever
Category.
disappointed in me.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah, I feel like we have trouble covering everything in the best of 2019. So last year we did our own like award show and we broke it down into categories, and that actually really helped a lot. Like, we did like different percentages of like patrons got to vote, and then we just put up like a YouTube poll, and then we had a certain vote that like they all got weighed in together to like do those categories and pick one. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. The worst whiskey, 3 words. Glyph Molecular Whiskey. Produced by a hazmat team at a laboratory in San Francisco. Absolutely god awful.
In San Francisco, okay.
Yeah, in a laboratory, not a distillery. A laboratory.
Oh.
I've heard of it, especially from you, but I've never seen it. Thank God.
I brought it to the Bastards Ball. I guess you just didn't get around to trying it.
I didn't know.
You can be thankful you didn't, because I gave it. I had Jason try it, and just the look on his face. I wish I had a picture of him. He was like,
it tasted like sour, like rotten grapefruit.
Ew, that's disgusting.
Exactly. Thank you. Nobody wants any of that.
That's what friends are for, to share your bad whiskeys.
I love that when people are like, "Oh, this is terrible. Here, you try it." I'm like, why would you want to do that to me?
Take a carton of milk out of the refrigerator. I think it's gone bad. What do you think?
Yeah. But he'll be the one that does it. Like a couple weeks ago, we had a friend gift us some old mini turkey decanters from, I think they were from like the 70s. And they're in these like ceramic little, I don't know, things. And
they're little 50 milliliter.
Yeah. So we opened them because we were like, why not? And poured it, and it was so cloudy. And so I tasted it. I mean, it literally tasted like paint mixed with whiskey. It was terrible. Chad's like, "Ooh, I'll try it." I mean, I was like, "This is the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted." He was like, "Sure."
I mean, if you hear that, you've got to experience it.
He was like, "I gotta know," and then immediately it was like,
well, I had a half a bottle left, but I just sent it off to Rob and Jeremy for them to try.
Nice.
Oh yeah, thanks, Eric.
It's good stuff.
Do they make that in San Francisco, or you just like have?
No, it's from a laboratory in San Francisco.
Yeah, I guess that one probably didn't pass the test.
No.
Let's talk about real quick. Just go around. We'll start back in the lower corner with Jason again. Kind of your not necessarily whiskey of the year, but what was you involved in, or what did you do this year? What made your highlight reel
For your show,
in the show or in the whiskey world? What was your highlight?
It's probably going to be a trending topic, but for me, being my first one, the Bastards Ball was pretty epic for me. Being my first one, I mean, just to get invited to go to meet, to meet a lot of you and meet a lot of the viewers, to see the whiskey world, to see the whiskey tubers, and to see the community firsthand, what it's like, the love, the collaboration, the sharing. That was hands down my favorite whiskey moment. From a channel perspective, getting to interview a couple of master distillers, Caleb Kilburn over at Peerless, Elizabeth McCall at Woodford, Andy and Charlie Nelson over at Nelson Greenbrier. Took a trip to Louisville with Scott for my bourbon journey and Dusty Dan. We had a lot of fun there. going to Rob. I went to Rob's house for Whiskey After the Thrones that night.
Did you touch the beard?
I did touch the beard a little bit. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That was actually, that weekend meant a lot to me actually, because that was the weekend I actually lost my dog. My dog had passed away like 2 days before that. I lost my my black lab that I adopted, and I was like, oh man, I definitely gotta go to Rob's now because I gotta get like out of my house. So went up there. We watched Game of Thrones, the final episode. We were pissed at the last episode, and I just remember drinking like phenomenal whiskeys that night. So that was a highlight. But the Bastard's Ball above all.
Cool.
Hey, real quick.
Whiskey Throttle.
Little cowbell for Whiskey Throttle. 25 Canadian dollars.
He's Canadian.
Yep. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it. So I'll tell you real quick. I wish at the Bastard's Ball, when we're all hanging out and all the YouTube channels are down there, we should have set aside like a 2 to 3 hour block at the hotel where just the YouTube channels got together and hung out.
That would have been a good idea.
We didn't really have enough one-on-one time. There was just always so much more going on.
You don't mean have a show. You just mean hang out.
Yeah.
Just to hang out. Yeah, we got to do that a little bit last year, which was nice.
We did when we went to that. What restaurant was that?
District Kitchen.
God
No,
dang.
that was cool. Yeah.
There was a barbecue.
Night, we all kind of got together and
Yeah, the barbecue was good, but the way we were set up on the table and we were doing that tasting for Iron Root,
Yeah,
it was kind of a little disconnected.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
When we were at the District Kitchen, it definitely was more, I don't know, we were able to like chit chat.
Yeah. It wasn't until after it was over and we all left that I kind of realized, like, we didn't get to spend enough time with all the other channels that were there.
It's just a whirlwind of a weekend.
Yeah. I wish we'd had
At
time.
one point, we like snuck in the back door of the hotel with pasta and just like stuffed our faces, went to bed for 10 minutes, and then we're like,
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
okay, now I'm ready.
Yeah, because there's done and we're leaving, even, Eric Waite was there, Bobby and Sam,
Yep.
Dan and Sean, the Bourbon Junkies. By the way, they're continuing this when we're done. I know Chad and Sarah, you guys had inadvertently scheduled a live as well. But so both will be going.
Yeah. Ours will just be for an hour. I think theirs is going to go into the wee hours of the morning, right?
So we'll point everybody over there.
Yeah.
But we talked at our 5-year reunion, we did some live mix-ups where we were on different people's channel, they were on ours.
Yeah.
And we've even talked about maybe at some point doing something like that again too, because I think something where we were able to, if we're all able to come together and kind of mix and match our shows, that's kind of neat, at least for me.
Yeah, we were kind of, when we were in the courtyard, we were doing some crossover on the shows there. People were jumping on different channels, but I think that's a great call out, just having an opportunity just for the whiskey tubers to get together and talk whiskey, talk, YouTube challenges, and just hang out and get
We'll just make our own little mini convention.
Yeah, we should have reserved like the
for everyone. We'll just pick there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we should have got like the conference room or something and just kind of got everybody off to the side just for a couple hours and just sit down and chat.
Next year.
Yep.
Oh, real quick. Speaking of Ardbeg, and we just finished off his ball of Ardbeg Very Young that Eric Waite won or didn't win. He bid for and got in the fundraiser for Matt Young. Scott and Bart, highlight of 2019 was the gathering in Glasgow and meeting you guys. Thanks, Ardbaggy.
That was awesome.
That was nice. Chad and Sarah, and Chad, I'll save you here. You can't say the wedding was your highlight of the year.
Yep, that's off limits. You can't
Nope.
say it.
Yeah, that's a given, so we won't talk about that.
Honeymoon's out too. I'm gonna just say.
No,
Not yet.
We haven't even had the meeting yet.
Not yet.
We're going in May.
I just want to say that there was a really awesome bourbon bar at our wedding. Like, it was pretty epic. So, just saying.
That was a highlight.
that-
just that one little thing.
Yeah, that was
And you didn't do a live stream?
No.
That would have been
actually. It was
We
actually,
debated it. It was requested, but
It was an unplugged wedding.
it was
Yeah.
unplugged.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
good
unplugged
idea.
wedding. I would say
your grandma on there though.
we've had meetups before for the channel, but we had our first weekend meetup this year. It was called Here for the Booze because
It was Halloween
It was
weekend.
Halloween, and we started it off with a ghost tour at Buffalo Trace. So I think that
Yeah, I think that's also. I mean, I love New Orleans. That's always a great time, and I love the Bastards Ball. But like, that was something we had never done before, and getting to connect with a really dedicated group of people for an entire weekend was like, it was big enough to have enough conversations going on and no one to be bored, but small enough to where we would get to spend time with everybody, and that was really great. So we're gonna try to make it at least annual, if not 2 times a year.
And that's where this thing came from.
Yeah,
actually.
they all pitched in. They all pitched in and surprised us with this bottle. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, a bunch. It was.
And they all brought us gifts. It was like second Christmas.
Yeah, it was comprised of our patrons.
Yeah.
And we rented a bus and we did some distillery tours and things like that, and had dinner a couple times. And yeah, I think it was excellent. Yeah, that was amazing.
So, I mean, you've talked about that bottle, and it's distillery exclusive. It was expensive. How much was it? Or
I think it was $280.
260, 270, maybe.
I think it was $280 with tax. Yeah. So it was a hefty price tag, but
it's aged for 12 years, but it's aged on the 10th floor of the Rick House for those 12 years. So it's not like it stays at the bottom of the warehouse for 12 years. So. That's why it's 134.4. For you guys, that's 67.2 ABV.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Right.
Was not at
Do
all.
they have an 11th floor is what I want to know.
And how
if 10th is the top floor, if there's a.
I want you to put it out on top of the roof.
Just put it up on top.
Yep, I want it on the roof, right with sun on it.
Aged in an airplane.
That'll be the next thing.
It will be.
And they'll be like,
Flown around on an airplane.
That's the next Jefferson.
that will be
Space age.
the next frontier.
Space aged.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's the next,
Copyright is Bourbon Night 2019.
We have a Space Force now.
yeah. The next
pitch in and fund this.
the next Jefferson's release. They're taking it from the boat to the plane.
Right. Yeah. Jefferson's aged on Mars.
Aged in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, wait for the year. What's your highlight? What happened?
So I grew a beard. That's just been really awesome.
That's my highlight too for him.
So 2019 has been amazing. And the challenge is when you have such a great year, it's like, okay, I'm going to top this in 2020. I don't know. It's been such a great year. But returning to Scotland was absolutely awesome. In terms of seeing Scotland, the highlights, the Isle of Arran was magical, which Whiskey Throttle can attest to. And Orkney is just magical. But the real highlight of the trip was I spent my 53rd birthday with Roy Aquavite. We went to Annandale Distillery, and serendipitously, we didn't have this plan. We ended up hanging out with the owner for half an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we went to the Bon Accord, where we celebrated my birthday and drank a whole lot of whiskeys. And they surprised me with a birthday cake, and I came this close to crying. I was so touched. I had to kind of look away and kind of like catch my breath. I was very moved by that. So that was absolutely phenomenal. But I got to also go down to Texas twice in April, hang out with Daniel and Rex, did some videos together. And then, of course, to the ball, which was amazing. Again, I totally agree with you. It was a short, compacted weekend. You just felt like you wish you could spend more time. And the Whiskey Dick, Bill says he's probably going to go out there a day early next time, or maybe even stay an extra day afterwards and see if you can hang out longer. But we'll see how it goes next year. But 2019 has been an awesome year. Unfortunately, 2020, I would like to go to Ireland, but new job, new place to live, a whole bunch of stuff coming on. I might be stuck at home for a year, but we'll see how it goes. I don't want to make it down to Texas again. But seeing you all again was awesome. And then Scott, and when I was there at Iron Root, and so we're doing a tasting and a video, and I come walking up between the barrels, and all of a sudden, Scott! I was so surprised. Of course, at first I thought you came all the way down just to see me, but you were actually there to fix a fence. I was like, oh, well.
He's very handy. He's handy.
The fence was many miles away.
It was.
The trip to Iron Root
okay.
just to see you.
You did drop it in.
Now I feel loved.
It's handy though.
Rob and Jeremy, back to through 2019. What's your highlight?
You mean like besides touching Rob's beard? I mean, I usually have to do that when he's passed out. But I mean, for me, it was just the whiskey this year. I mean, I tried so many amazing bottles. The channel did really well for my 10,000 video. We talked about Aurora, 38-year-old. We had Narbion from Reviews, who's like an idol of mine. So that was a top highlight for me. And I just like watching you guys. Like I love the whiskey community, and yeah, I mean like good whiskey and good times online for sure.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like two things. Well, multiple things, but what really surprised me this year was how good single malts can be in rum casks. So these two are a prime example of that. This is the Amaru, aged for 9 years in a rum cask, and a Cavalon aged for 8 years in a rum cask. That was probably the runner-up for me. And then number one is a multitude of things. Obviously, sharing like Thursday nights with these guys that are beside me right now. Jeremy, Sal, and Bob, as many of you know them if you watch my Thursday nights. I mean, Paulo, sorry. He's on my left over here. And then Jeremy is usually frontline and center with me on almost all lives. And then, you know, meeting Jason and spending some like cool time with a bunch of guys from the community. But I think the number one thing like that caps everything off for me, and it kind of talks about this community as a whole, is the when I posed the top 10 whiskeys to try every guy to the whiskey community, and so many of you guys jumped on the opportunity to do it. I thought that was awesome. I honestly was, as weird as it sounds, like touched by the fact that like so many people were willing, not only like willing to do it, but actually enjoy doing it. I thought that was really cool, and that was something that was definitely a highlight for me.
Awesome. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, you too. Like that was one of my best videos.
I think almost everybody in this chat participated in that.
Yeah.
Real quick for Matt over at Whiskey Crusaders, it was so great to be with many of you at the Bastards Ball. I cannot wait to be together again next year. Cheers to all and a happy new year.
Cheers to Matt.
Cheers Matt.
Cheers to Matt, the man with that small whiskey collection.
Yeah.
Whose is bigger, Chris? Liquorhound, yours or Matt's?
I don't know. He's got a great collection.
Liquorhound, baby. That's Liquorhound.
But I will say, you know, coming back to, you know, what was so great about 2019 for me was meeting people like Matt. The whole bourbon community coming together. I get to meet a lot of people through Reddit, Facebook, everywhere. Meeting Scott at Iron Root's 5th anniversary was amazing. And again, it just goes to something that I appreciate is just being out, meeting everyone. You know, I don't take whiskey too seriously, even though that's kind of what we all do. But it's more about just the interaction and meeting people and enjoying pouring with each other, you know, special drams.
Okay, so this is something I used to ask people. We did.
Yeah.
Chris, your house is on fire right now, and you can only grab two bottles.
Dang, there's so many back there.
You can only grab 2 bottles. Which ones?
What would you do?
What is it? What are you saving?
Grab the fire extinguisher.
So I know the very first one is going to be a Lagavulin 21 from 2007.
Yeah.
That's going to be the first one.
Wow, like you. You're a good man.
The second one to grab, oh my goodness. Because it starts getting rough.
It's on fire. It's on fire.
Put it out. Put the
maybe
fire
my Booker's
out.
Friends and Family. That bottle may have been the one.
What?
Booker's Friends and Family. So it was before Booker's hit the shelf when he was giving it away just to his friends and family.
Wow.
Yeah, that one. It was one of his honey barrels, and Booker had phenomenal palate for honey barrels.
Yeah, I would run in and grab
I would run back into your house and grab that if you didn't.
Yeah, your neighbors would pitch in.
I would
Two
wait
bottles.
while Liquorhound is distracted, putting out the fire, and take that bottle.
Right. Rob would fly down from Canada, arrive in time.
Yeah. Help me bring all these bottles out.
Yeah, if Liquorhound's house on fire, we're running in the fire. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of heroes.
Knock on wood. Let me knock on wood.
A lot of heroes.
Going down with the ship and the whiskey.
There'll be a chain gang. It'll be like the old bucket brigade.
There you go.
Make this work if we all run in at the same time.
Yeah, like let's light your house on fire right now and see what happens.
Poor guy. Knock on wood.
We had another.
Did we?
Yep.
Super chat?
Yep. We had a super chat roll in. Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Kilco.
Hold on.
It's been a joy to be a quiet part of the Whiskey Tube. I hope to meet all of you someday. Maybe Bastards Ball 2020. That has a nice ring to it.
Mhm.
Solancha to all of you for the new year.
So I had him on my channel New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve, and he's out in Rhode Island.
Really? I like that. Small cut.
All right, well, everybody, I think we'll start to wrap it up at 6:45. So we're coming up on 7 p.m. Central Time. This will continue at both Bourbon Junkies and It's Bourbon Night has their own scheduled live stream going.
Perfect.
One thing I would like to say for our highlight, I think, of 2019 was, of course, getting to visit Scotland and Ireland. Both.
Yeah, both. The being flown out to do work in Ireland and then popping over to Scotland to meet with European fans and to be at the Bonacor and to run a tasting, and then really to be immersed with the help of Roy Aquavitae as we went around Islay and the Highlands. It was definitely phenomenal. But signing that wall, what was the name? I always forget the name of the liquor store.
Good Spirits Company.
Good Spirits Company in the back. They have their tasting room. Literally signing the wall.
Is that right?
I
think so.
Come on, you never miss. You never miss. So yeah, that was definitely a highlight. And you know what I loved in Ireland was hanging out with a farmer that's farming some of the Seamus Duggan, who's one of the farmers for Waterford, and coming inside. Oh, perfect. Yeah. And then having those 4 different years, 4 different cast styles, and us being able to blend our own, and then having some of Seamus's wife's homemade.
Like I called for I want to see more experimentation or more offerings from Ireland. That's what's coming from Waterford. Waterford's going to start pushing. They're doing so many different things.
Well,
it'll be good.
All the different caskings, the different farms, the Providence, the barley. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they'll be bringing some interesting things from Ireland.
Yeah. Chris, Liquorhound, thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
greatly appreciated.
Thank you for having me.
I just subscribed to Liquorhound, by the way.
Oh, awesome! Thank you, Eric. Thank you. But thank you. It's been excellent.
The thing is, there's a lot of people. Liquorhound, you've been around for a while. I was even watching you.
Oh yeah.
For a long time. I think your expertise, your palate, your knowledge base, a lot of people out there in the world appreciate.
Oh, look at the tequila, the information on the bottles alone.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not just whiskey, focused. You're definitely spirits. You're into everything. So.
Yes.
Well, let me say this. It's a great time for everyone, simply because, when I first started, the whole reason I got started was simply because there was hardly any information out there. At the time there was a few bloggers, internet was just kind of starting up. So it was really rough. But that's kind of why I got started. And now there's so many of us with so much knowledge. It's wonderful to be able to learn from everyone and to, again, take little pieces from here and there and just really share the love.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rob and Jeremy are Canadian brothers. Thank you guys both. And both your channels doing great. You both, I think you bring nice experience, nice knowledge base.
We need to cross the border so I can rub the beards of both gentlemen. Both, not just one, both. We'll get a photo of that.
And they're the handsome whiskey tubers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But okay, I don't know if I said it. So if you're not watching Whiskey in the Six, which is Rob, or Sipper Social Club, Jeremy,
Yep.
Do that.
We know things.
We do. Thanks you guys for coming in and joining us today. Greatly appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having us. I really appreciate it. Honestly, this was an honor to be included with such great company. So thank you for having us.
Yeah, like I'm really appreciative of this, especially Chris. I've been with you from the very, very beginning. My girlfriend texted me during this live stream. She's like, "You didn't tell me Liquorhound was going to be with you." Yeah, super honored. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
Did you say that was your girlfriend, Jeremy?
Yeah, she's a huge whiskey fan, and she watches the Whiskey Tube community, and obviously like Liquorhound, one of our
Well,
favorites.
at least give her a first name shout out because you know she's watching.
Caitlin, she's in the chat probably somewhere. So yeah.
Wow.
And well, wait, Chris. Yeah. Chris, are you single? Are you looking for someone?
No.
Okay, well,
he was going to steal your girlfriend. What are you doing? What are you doing? He was trying to make a theft. What was that?
I mean, I would have no rebuttal. I mean, I'm just like, okay, it's Liquorhound. So
yeah, you'd be like, I will help you protect your liquor during the fire. Look, Sarah gave me a head nod like that was wrong. That was wrong.
It's really some toxicity going on right now.
And Eric Waite, thank you for coming in. Now, this year, one thing you didn't mention, I think one of your highlights from 2019 is splitting. You were a wine sommelier. And you had a wine channel, and you came on, and you got into the whiskey world,
right?
And eventually, during 2019, you realized, hey, these need to be separate because they are two different things.
Yeah, well, different demographics. Even though they're both alcoholic beverages, it's two different groups. I was getting two different, and so splitting them off. And unfortunately, it was almost as if I got a divorce, and like I found another woman. Because the wine channel quickly got neglected. I don't spend that much time on it. So spend time on the whiskey.
Yes, the wild whiskey woman.
But I would say this: if my house was on fire, I'd grab 2 bottles: my 2009 Chateau Mouton Rothschild, a wine, and my Dark Cove, a bottle of my Dark Cove.
Wow, there you go.
Wine and a whiskey.
I need to come to your house. I will not touch your wine.
Yeah, thank you, Eric, for coming in. Appreciate it. Check out Eric Waite. Like I say, he's got 2 channels: the wine channel and the whiskey channel. Make sure you're checking out,
AKA the Sniper.
I also have a line of hair care products if you're interested.
No, we're not.
They don't work.
Chad and Sarah, thank you for coming on, our bourbon experts. I know you came in late. Still appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you could have came on for 10 minutes, still appreciate it. But
well, we figured you were cooking something.
I did cook before this.
Yeah, she did.
I did.
She did cook, and I was actually finishing up.
Scott never cooks for you, Bart?
Finishing up an episode.
Actually, he does. He is like a little chef. I mean, little.
Well, my New Year's resolution is going to be learn more about baking. I want to learn more about cakes and pastries and stuff like that.
You will really be close to me then.
Yeah, but I guess we will be hopping off here. We got to start in a couple of minutes.
Gotta get ready for ours.
Rumor has it that I've got to get a Jaeger bomb ready. So.
Ooh, all right, wow. Wow.
It's like the end of the year or something.
Good luck, Chad.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks for having us on, guys. As always, you all are awesome. Everyone in this chat is awesome, and we appreciate you.
Good people, good times.
All right. See y'all.
Thank you, guys. Have a good 2020.
Thanks, guys.
You too.
And Jason, mash and drum.
The mash.
Yep. Close it out for us, buddy.
Go this way.
Just thank you all for having me in here. This is this year probably has been a very crazy ride for me. It's been amazing to meet you all. I'm kind of like Rob and Jeremy right now. I'm kind of like starstruck a little bit by Liquorhound. I started watching him way back when.
All right.
So it was definitely so cool just to share a StreamYard with you, man. So I've been watching forever. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been an incredible year. I did want to say one thing. One thing that we touched on a little bit before, but I think it's kind of the epitome of what the whiskey community can do, and that's when you guys had your fundraiser for Matt and his family. That was an incredible day of giving and fellowship and people coming together for a great cause. I know ultimately Matt, kind of succumbed to cancer, but I think what the whiskey community did for his family and was pretty incredible that day. That definitely put that was a big thing to remember. I think this year that happened. So I think with that, it's kind of, when you think back at the year, all these great things happened, but when you see the power of the whiskey community right there, just in that one day, that one moment, it was pretty incredible.
Yeah, we were stunned.
Yeah, but I do want to thank everyone for the support and the and everything that my channel grew way faster than I thought it would this year, and I really appreciate everyone watching and showing me some love and stuff, and happy to share the knowledge and get into the history of bourbon and whiskey. So it's been a fun ride this year.
All right. Well, thank you, and thank you to everybody that come in. We're gonna wrap it up at 6:56. Encourage everybody to go over to the Bourbon Junkies channel. Dan and Sean, they're going to continue. I'm not sure who their guests are, who they invited on.
I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody again that joined us.
All right.
Cheers.
So launch it, dummies.
Cheers, everyone.
Scotch it, you Scotch gods.
Launch it. Dummies.
Got out of order there.
All right. Clicking the button.
Woo.